Hi creatives, I am Dima and you're welcome to another sewing tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to sew the stylish Bubu dress that we drafted in our last tutorial. This is purely a sewing tutorial. In our last tutorial, we made pattern on the shawl collar Bubu dress with pleated shoulder. This is the pattern. This is just a recap of what we did. If you want to see the full tutorial on all of this, just check the link in the description and you will have it right there. So here I am cutting the back pattern as well. Everything you can see to this stage are all in our previous tutorial of the pattern drafting of this lovely dress. So I went ahead to cut the facing of this and applied pepper gum to it. Okay, so it did not get to the hem. I also had to join fabric to get it to the hem. So now to join this together, you place the front pattern together and stitch like this. I also had to get the facing that I applied the pepper gum and also stitch it the same way. Okay, that is what I did first, and after that the next is to go ahead and bring it all together like this to make up the length of the facing. You can see that the facing did not get to the hem of this Bubu dress, so I'm going to first of all make this place straight up, okay, to be very much straight, and then I'll be joining fabric. I'll measure it to know the amount of fabric remaining and then I'll join it there. Yes, you can cut it all in one. I joined it because the fabric I had was not enough to make up the full length at once, so that is why I am joining. So I just had to fold the fabric like this and then go ahead and measure it out and apply pepper gum to it, and then joined it to the facing, the upper part of the facing. Yeah, so that is what I did here. I had to get the facing and just go ahead and join this to it. So yes, that is what I did to make up the length, and I had to go ahead and iron. You can see now this is the exact length that we need. You can cut this in one, just as I said earlier. Is because my fabric is not enough, so what I did here is just to blend it to cut any excess. So I'll open it up like this and iron, and also open up the neckline here and iron. So this is what I have. I used hairstay to gum it down really nicely to make it stay smooth and fine. So having done that, I will go ahead and show you the rest of the process. So this is also the front fabric part that I joined on the neck. I also used hairstay to comb it down. Okay, ensure not to iron on the face of this fabric if you are making use of a fabric like this, because it's quite sticky and it can burn the fabric. When you want to iron the face, you can use ironing cloth. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is just to cut the back facing. Okay, so after cutting the back facing, I also applied pepper gum to it. Okay, pepper gum is the soft kind of the thicker version of the tissue gum, the lighter gum, but the thicker version of it. Please, it's not gum stay. Gum stay is too stiff for a fabric like this. Okay, so after doing that, this is what I have. I just had to go ahead and stitch down this area. Check my previous tutorial and you see what a pepper gum looks like. The link will be in the description box. So this is how to place the front and the back neckline. Okay, just the way you can see me do. Place it like this and stitch it all through down the shoulder. That is what I did here, and this is the outcome. So this is what I have, and you're going to do yours exactly like this. So here I am trying to just arrange it so that you have an idea of what I've done so far. Here is the neckline. You can see what it looks like. I've not put the facing at this stage, but you can see the shawl collar has already formed and is really beautiful. So the next thing to do is to do the same thing we did for fabric on the facing. Yes, so I had to keep the back facing like this and still place it exactly the way I did for the fabric part of this, and I'm going to stitch it all through to the shoulder. So after stitching it, this is what it looks like. You can see this is exactly what I did on the fabric part. So I will just keep it like this and ensure I match the mid with the neckline as well, and then I am going to pin it down. Please pin it down. If you cannot manage, you can actually pin it down all through, you know, before stitching, so that it will be more manageable for you. Yes, so I am going ahead to pin all of this down, and then I'll go ahead and stitch. So that is it. So just pin, 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 and ensure you pin every part that you need to. Okay, and then you stitch. This will make it quite easy for you. Okay, it's more like basting. So I've gone ahead to stitch it down, and I am notching right now. Ensure you notch yours as well, very important. Now after notching, look closely to see what I did here. I had to push the, yes, I pushed it to the facing part, and I'll be top stitching like this. Okay, top stitch all through, but ensure that you're top stitching just the part of the shawl collar. Don't top stitch all through to the hem. Once you get to the end of the shawl collar, you stop. Okay, that is what I did. The top stitch is just within the area of the shawl collar. I'll still open up this center back and iron really nicely. Okay, so after doing all of this, the next thing I had to do is to go ahead and arrange it once more so that you see exactly what we have before we continue. Okay, so after arrange, you can see what I have. See where I top stitched it to, just under the shawl collar. I didn't get it down to the part that we have the buttons. Okay, so that it will not show. So this way the top stitch will be at the back of the shawl collar. That's the back part that is rolled over. Nobody will see the top stitch. Okay, but if you continue, the stitch is going to show on the surface around the button, and we don't want that. So here I'm going to be fixing the buttons at the appropriate place and making the buttonholes at the appropriate place as well. So watch how I, you know, I'm going to hold all of this together. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You try to hold all of this together. You can see how I'm, you know, holding all of this. You're going to tack it with hand, needle, and thread to just hold the bit facing in place, and after that you're going to really tack it really nicely. Okay, so yeah, I'm just pinning it down so that the tacking will be quite easy. Just pin down where you need to tack, and then go ahead and tack it with hand needle. You can see what I'm doing, and that is exactly what you're going to do. So after tacking all of this, I tacked it to the extent that it encroached to where I'll be putting the pleats. So that made me still lose a little part of the stackings to be able to, you know, put the pleats in place. You're going to see all of that. So having done this, you can see what I have. I have tacked it to an extent. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and put the pleats. So this is the shoulder that I spread open right now. I am going to measure. Okay, measure and get the shoulder measurement, which is here. Watch closely to see what I'm doing. You are going to pleat it like this. You know, we have 3.5 inches, so you're going to pleat in the, you know, 3.5 right there from the shoulder. Yeah, so that way you're going to get exactly what you want. So this is the tacking that I did. I just had to loosen it up because it's encroached to where I want to put the pleat. So but after the pleats, I'm going to tack it back. I hope you understand what I mean. So right here I am going to, you know, measure the 3.5 from that shoulder tip and push it in from the under. Okay, you know, 3.5 times 2 is 7 inches. This is what I mean. So I am going to push it in like this and really, you know, arrange it really nicely so that I can stitch it down. Okay, So this is what I have, and this is how I arrange it very well, and I am going to stitch it down towards the front. Here I'm measuring where to stitch it down to, okay, and I measured 11 here, and that is where I got to. But please don't do it up to 11. Make yours 7.5 or at most 8 inches, because I had to lose this because it made the bust area tight. Extending this place to around 11.5 is not ideal. Please make yours 8, 7.5 or at most 8. So make it 7.5 or at most 8 from the shoulder line to the front, 7.5, 8 inches, to the back, 7.5, 8 inches. Okay, so here I am marking 3.5 to ensure I took exactly 3.5. Okay, so that is what I did there. And yeah, after stitching it for both sides of the shoulder, okay, this is what I have. You can see it's already coming out really nice. It's so fine here. This is really beautiful. This is nice. Okay, you can see the pleats, you can see everything forming really nicely the way it should. You can see the pleats, how it is there. So we are just going to go ahead and tack back what we loosed earlier. I hope you understand. Tack it back and also tack your facing completely, really neatly and nicely, so that it will lay flat inside the cloth. So if you like to use lining, you can go ahead and use lining, but I did not use lining for this cloth because it's already too heavy. The fabric is a heavy type and I can't imagine putting lining on this, so I had to use facing. So it depends on what you're using for yours. You can as well replace the facing with a complete lining. Yes, so right here is where the buttons will be. You can see that the right part is overlaying the left, so the buttonholes will be on the right side of this while the buttons will be on the left. So that is how I placed this, and this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and measure this, hem part to know the quantity of black fabric I'll be using for the pleats. So after measuring, I got about 50 inches there. Okay, I will go ahead, and that means the fabric you'll be using there should be about 100. But if you can get more than 100, that would be nice because it will make the pleats to really be full. Okay, so here I am measuring the back as well to be very sure of what I have. So after that, of course, the front and back are the same. Okay, after closing up the bottom part, so I had to bring out my black fabric and I used it exactly like this. I mentioned in the pattern drafting tutorial that I used 3 yards of the black and 3 yards of the patterned fabric. Okay, so what I'm doing here is to measure the remaining length of this dress, okay, to ensure I got the remaining length of this dress. And after that, I just have to slash this into 2. It's 3 yards. Okay, I slashed it into 2 equal parts, and I used 1/2 for the front and 1/2 for the back. Here I am measuring the full length of this, and it gave me about 104. Is that up to 3 yards? You can check that, but it gave me about 104. Okay, this is how the fabric was brought. So I am to use this 104 from the place, so I just divided it into 2 equal parts. You can see how I divided it, okay, along the yardage, if you understand what I mean. So you can see what the length looks like now. So I am going to use 1/2 of it to form pleats in the front and another half to form pleats at the back. But please, if you ask me, I will say use more than this for yours. Okay, if you can get up to 140 inches, okay, that will be fine. That's about 3.5 to 4 yards. Will be fine. But what I used here is 104 inches. Okay, you can check if it's up to 3 yards, but yeah, that is what I used. Okay, I divided it into two along the yardage and used half of it for the front and then the other half for the back. So after forming the pleats, this is the beautiful outcome we got, and it was really nice. I will not even lie, it was nice. My client loved her dress so much. She said she got lots of compliments wearing this dress. She was so happy, and this is what it looks like. Now this is what I am using this pattern for, right? I was talking about this landmarks when I was making this pattern. Now this is what they are for. So I had to mark exactly what the waist is. Yes, just the way you see me mark it. I did not go looking okay to be tight, no, because the pleats already is forming the, is giving ease. Okay, you know, it's like a butterfly. So I'm going to just stitch down all through. So all I need to do is to know the level of the armhole, where the armhole ended, then I'll stitch it down from there. So I said where the armhole landed, you just drop it by 2 inches and then stitch from there down, following the line that I marked for the waistline. Right now you can see me here explaining that you should lose 2 inches, no, 3 inches away from the 11. Yes, so use 8 inches or even 7.5. You can see the excess here. I'm going to lose it so that it does not affect the bust. Yes, the 11 got to the bust and made the bust seem tight when it is not supposed to be. So I had to lose the pleat there and ensure that it is about 8 inches from the shoulder line. So that is what I just marked because I had to loosen it. So after doing all of that and closing up the sides, this is what I have. Now another thing I have to make sure is this velvet fabric that I used for the downside, the pleated part. It was so troublesome to stitch. I used my regular method. Yes, my machine that I used to make stretchy fabric has fault, so it was not handy. But there's a way I stick, you know, masking tape on the presser foot to make fabrics like this, but then it did not work for this very one. Wow, I was nearly frustrated. I had to, you know, think of using papers on it as I stitched down the hem and every other part that I had to stitch, and that was my saving grace, and I got it at last. And when I, you know, put this on the dress form, the middle video, the peak, you can see at the middle, it was so fine. I hope you love it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Love you all. Bye.